Hello, I'm Liz Moat. I'm incoming chair of the Ohio State Bar Association's Young Lawyers Section, and I'm here with attorney Chris Brown.
Hi, I'm chair of the OSBA Young Lawyers Section, and today we are honored to have attorney and author Jeena Cho with us. We're here to talk about the book that she co-authored with Karen Gifford, The Anxious Lawyer. Jeena, thanks for joining us.
Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background and why you and your co-author Karen Gifford decided to write the book?
Thanks for having me. So I started my career as an assistant state attorney, and currently I practice bankruptcy law with my husband, who is also a lawyer in San Francisco. And Karen and I wanted to write a book because we are both huge proponents and practitioners of mindfulness and meditation, and we didn't feel like there was an accessible source for lawyers, and we both knew, being attorneys ourselves, that it can really benefit lawyers. So we wanted to create a guide that would really resonate with lawyers.
So with that being said, I think a lot of different professions can gain something from mindfulness and meditation practice, but why do lawyers stand in particular or specifically to gain from mindfulness or meditation practice?
A few different reasons. As lawyers, we're in the human suffering and human trauma business, and that certainly takes a toll on us. And practicing mindfulness and meditation gives us a tool for being able to process all of that human trauma that we go through. And certainly as a bankruptcy attorney, no one ever comes to see me with happy news, and I really found that having that tool of mindfulness allows me to fully be with the client, who can often be in great distress, but also be able to leave that particular client behind and really focus on the next issue that I have to deal with.
So as the chair and the chair-elect of the Young Lawyers Section, we're super concerned about young lawyers as they enter the profession. Kind of same question, but then even one layer deeper, why do young lawyers in particular have something to gain from practicing mindfulness and meditation?
You know, when I think back to my young lawyer days, there was just so much self-doubt and not knowing, am I doing this correctly? Or, and also, there's just so much expectation being placed on you as a young lawyer, and you're still trying to find your way. And also develop your own sense of identity as a lawyer. Who do you want to be, and what are the things that you hold valuable? What are the things that you hold dear? And having mindfulness kind of allows you the space to be able to distill and figure out, what are the things that are true to you, and what are sort of the voices of the external forces, and really focus on having your own set of values and your own set of checklists, and not constantly trying to measure yourself to some external yardstick, which I think can give you the illusion that it'll bring you happiness, but ultimately won't.
Yeah. So lawyers are notoriously busy. What would you say to someone who says, well, I just can't afford 10 minutes or 30 minutes, or I just can't afford to spend this time on mindfulness and meditation?
And as a profession, it's really hard because we, of course, sell our time in 6-minute increments. So there's this constant pressure to bill more. And the thing that I really got out of having a mindfulness meditation practice is that those 6 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes that I spend in meditation actually allows me to be more productive. It actually allows me to focus better. It allows me to notice when my mind has become distracted. And it's also kind of really toned down that constant yammering that goes on in the mind all the time. And also, I don't know about you, but I've certainly had the experience of reliving some past experience, like the judge making that ruling, which I still think is wrong. It may have happened 10 years ago, and I'm still thinking about it because something about this particular case re-triggered that memory. And before my meditation practice, I can spend an entire afternoon reliving that experience, and now I can go, oh, I'm doing that habitual behavior again. That's in the past. Let me refocus on whatever is happening. So I think whatever time you spend in your meditation practice, you'll end up getting back, and so many folds.
Great. I think a lot of people are interested in meditation and mindfulness, but to them it seems something out of their comfort zone. And so there's a lot of resources out there. Mindfulness seems to be everywhere I turn if I go to a bookstore. Are there any particular resources or books that you would recommend as a starting point for someone new to the practice?
There's so many books and apps that are out there, and it can often, I think it's easy to kind of get lost because there's just so much information that's out there. And I think for people that are interested, you can literally just spend 2 minutes every day just starting to do a short meditation practice. There are lots of different guided meditations out there because I think, especially for lawyers, we tend to be very intellectual, so we can kind of get lost in the weeds and sort of spend a lot of time like learning about something instead of doing it. It's almost like learning about how to run instead of getting out there, putting on your shoelaces and going out there and running. But this idea of starting where you are, and the other question that I often get is like, I know I should meditate for 30 minutes, but I only have 2 or 5 minutes, or I don't have 30 minutes. And whatever you can fit into your schedule is perfectly fine. And don't let the perfection be the enemy of the good.
I know that Anxious Lawyer covers a lot of topics, from mindfulness to compassion. Is there a particular component within that you think is especially helpful for lawyers?
I think for me, the practice that's been most meaningful has been compassion. And I know lawyers are like, oh my gosh, compassion, that sounds really scary. But the ability for me to be a little bit kinder to myself and started to really see all of those voices inside my head that's constantly telling me how I'm not good enough and how I'm a failure, and just that constant like narrative that's going through my mind. And once I was able to see it for what it is, just mental phenomena that's not based in fact, I was really able to replace it and actually say the nicer things and replace that dialogue with something a little bit kinder and gentler, and also just seeing that I talk to myself in ways that I would never talk to anyone else, and that has this sort of residual effect that I wasn't expecting. I'm able to be more compassionate with others and not get so crazy when people cut me off on the highway, and I think it's a better way to go through life just for your own sanity. I think going through life with a lot of resentment and anger hurts you more than it hurts anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So the OSBA Young Lawyers Section has been reading The Anxious Lawyer as part of its book club. Do you think that sharing these experiences, reading the book, or entering into the mindfulness and meditation practice for a first time is an especially helpful way to experience those things?
Yeah, I think it's so wonderful that you guys are doing this as a group and as a community. There's just something really powerful about sort of going through these experiences and thinking like, oh, I must be the only one. I know the first time I started meditating, I was like, oh, wow, like there are so many thoughts in my head and I'm clearly not doing this correctly. And, I too learned to meditate in a group setting and just being able to come back and say, I spent the entire 12 minutes going through my to-do list and then having other people nod their head and go, oh, you too, I did the same thing. There's just something really comforting about that. Or being able to say, I screwed up. And having other people say, oh, I too screwed up in that, exact same way. And being able to voice those things deflates that shame balloon that so many lawyers can walk around with, or even just saying like, I'm struggling, and having other people actually hear you and not like go off screaming and saying, oh my gosh, you're such a failure. So I think it is really, really helpful to go through these experiences as a group.
Great. Completely agree. And thank you so much for sitting down with us to talk about the book and talk about mindfulness and meditation.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
If you want to learn more about involvement with the OSBA committees and sections, including the Young Lawyers Section, the Young Lawyers Section Book Club, visit ohiobar.org/committees and sections. Thank you.